Welcome to SLAC Acting Company. SLAC Acting Company is a theater, and I work as part of the team that builds sets. What we basically do is tell stories. These stories happen right in front of you with a live audience. The place or area around the actor is called a set. I work on the team that builds these sets. Since these stories can happen anywhere, we have to build everything imaginable, from trees, houses, hospital rooms, etc. It takes a lot of communication to bring all this together. We use special terms as carpenters, set designers, and stagehands that we all know and share. It's a lot like the terms we use at burn camp. Donor sites, skin grafts, physical therapy. It's just a language we all use and makes everything go easier for everyone involved. As you can imagine, it takes a lot of communication for the designer's dreams and wants to be made into a real working set. It requires a lot of tools to build a set, and the carpenters must have a shared understanding of the name and uses of each of these tools. If we use the correct names for tools, cuts, and everything else involved, it helps the whole project go more smoothly and prevents accidents. It makes everything go so much more quickly when we all use the same terms. It's a bit like how with our burn injuries, we build up such a fast bond with each other. We are all using the same words when we talk about our donor sites, skin grafts, physical therapy, and everything else. We don't have to explain it to each other, we just understand each other. Today we're going to be building a small framing box to show you how we put these large walls together. So you saw the walls upstairs. This is a design showing us that they are 5 feet across and 8 feet high. We're going to build ours today 1.5 feet high and 3 feet long. So we'll make our own plans. Here's our box. This will be 1.5 feet and this will be 3 feet. So this will be 4 cuts. These will be 3 feet long. And because our outside dimensions are to be 1.5, we'll have to take 3 inches off to make it that high. So that will be 15 inches tall.
Yep.
Eric, will you grab a couple pieces of wood and let's cut?
Yeah.
And guys, this is Eric Reichard, our construction supervisor at the Salt Lake Acting Company. So when making cuts, we want to do our first cut at 3 feet long. Lay the tape measure come down. As you come down the tape measure, you'll see 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet right here. Make a little mark there. And then we'll go ahead and cut that at 3 feet. When you want to cut these 2x4 or 2x3s, you want to make sure that both of the sides are touching the fence. This is the blade and this is the fence of this tool. Look there and we'll make sure that our blade comes down right on our mark. Always keep your hands away from the blade as a safety feature, and another safety feature is one hand is required on top of the miter saw to make it run. Now we know this is 3 feet. For quick framing construction like this, we can use a little trick and just run that to there. Make sure our fence is tight. Move this away from the blade. And here we have our top and bottom at 3 feet long.
Ooh, we're gonna need another piece. Hi, boss. That'll get you.
So the height of our outside box, 1.5 inches, is 18 inches. Those are outside dimensions. These will be the outside dimensions, so we already have 3 inches there. That means that we need our inside pieces to be 15 inches long. Once again, we come over here. Mark 15 inches. Make sure that our blade is coming down on our 15-inch mark. Keep our hands in the safety area. Make our first cut here. It's always good to double check your cuts, and we are right on 15.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's a nice cut.
That was a nice cut.
Those are our miter box cuts. Assembly.
Compressor.
Let me turn off that compressor. We'll get to that later. So assembling these, we'll just stage it out, make sure that everything's where we want to, just double checking this. That should be 18 inches high and 3 feet long.
That's nice.
Yep. So whenever you're attaching 2 pieces of wood with the screw, we like to use a pilot hole. Well, first, we're going to be attaching these with 2.5-inch screws. Once we embed it, the screw will go that long into the other piece of wood and will hold all this together for us. To prevent wood from cracking, we drill a pilot hole. So we get our wood right where we want it. Make our pilot hole. That way, it has a place for the screw to go.
There's battery for you, boss.
Well, thank you, sir. And then we're going to go ahead and put in that first screw. That noise is an impact wrench. Second one right there. Finish it off here. And Eric, you want to go ahead and do that corner for me?
Yes. I like to do both at the same time.
Let's do your one first.
You want to do mine first?
This one's fun.
Okay.
Got some fun nuts over here.
This one's a little... It's a little bowed too, I think. Or something.
So here's where a pilot hole is really nice. You'll see there's a little bit of bowing there to the wood, so it doesn't want to fit exactly where we want. We'll hold it right there. And Eric, while I'm holding it there, will you go ahead and give me a pilot hole drill?
For sure.
My hands here are just acting like a clamp. There's our first pilot hole in, and while I'm still holding it, he'll finish off with that screw.
got any twist? Nah, it's
Flush
good.
it off. Just catching my drill, Eric, just a hair towards me. All right.
Nice.
There's a box. Or a wall, or whatever your imagination wants it to be. Next step, we're going to face it, or put a wall on it. For that, we're going to use Luan, and we are going to want that Luan to be 18 inches tall.
Still 18.
And 3 feet long. We'll get our 18 inches out of that piece right there. So we come over here. Go ahead and set this to 18 inches on this tool. Here's your fence, here's your blade. Before you touch everything, you obviously want to make sure the saw's off. There's little teeth right here. And so if we measure the fence, the distance between the fence and that blade at 18 inches, lock that in for me, Eric.
Oh.
That locked in. Oh.
Good.
So we know that that's 18 inches between here and here. So when we grab our piece of wood, our Luan, that will be 18 inches cut. We always use this for safety purposes with both of us here. Eric's going ahead and lowering that blade since we don't need it for that height. I'll be feeding it through, he'll be catching it. Coming on.
Looks good.
And for our next cut, we are going to need 3 feet.
So,
And it looks like we're gonna run a skill saw today. So for our skill saw cut, I'm going to pull this table out of the way, give us just a little bit more room, lower the blade here for safety. Actually, we can just run that 3-foot cut right here.
hey, boss.
So coming in here, we'll come in 3 feet. Make a mark there. Use this. What's this tool called, Eric?
This is a drywall square.
Drywall
or sometimes
square.
called a T-square.
Come right up on that mark. There's our line, 3 feet. Eric, let's let you make this cut.
All right. This is one of my favorite tools. The battery-powered 20-volt skill saw.
Check your line. Yeah.
You're good, right? Nice. So I'm gonna run this edge of the blade right on that edge of the pencil mark. Rather than this edge, I'm gonna cut on this side of this line. Also, guard to keep this from cutting you terribly. This line coincides with the edge of the blade. So I'm gonna line that up just like that. And I'm gonna go.
So we have checked
16
our...
short.
Perfect. We'll go ahead and pull these. So here is a top or a wall to our box. A couple different ways we could attach this. A lot of times we would just screw it in. But for fun today, we're going to use the brad gun. Brad gun is a pneumatic tool. It fires little tiny brads, a lot like little tiny bullets. And it is pneumatic, which means it's air powered. So we go ahead and turn on the compressor. So for strength on our square, we want to tighten up our triangles. So give some attachment points here and here on all of the corners. And there's a small wall or box or floor and how it's built.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Erik, SLAC Acting Company, and Cynthia Fleming.